I get it, Moonscar is hard, unfair and sometimes downright evil, and that is why, my friend, into this video I will help you understand things like parrying, Moonrite, super dash, and give you the answer to why you carry around body parts like a corpse snatcher. I'll even show you a build that will help you in your playthrough and make you the king or queen of this game and slay everything. Okay, it's time for a confession. Hi, I'm Dan and I played well over 5 hours before I even tried to master parrying. Why, Dan? Well, I did what probably everybody does when they are new to the game. I tried to parry at the beginning of the game and failed. I felt like I could not get the timing right and almost died every time. Sat down in the house, I saw the red glow and pressed the parry button, but I could not just time it right, no matter how many times I tried. Maybe you have tried it too and have the same feeling. So what's left to do? You fight your way through the game, and for me that was good enough for a while. But I could not give up on such a big part of the game mechanics without even trying it again. It does not feel right to just give up, so after hours of playing I decided to try again. And since there are only a limited number of enemies, it suddenly became easier to parry their attacks since I had spent hours dodging their attacks. That means that this leech gemstone, which provides a nice healing bonus for such successful parrying, may not be so worthless after all. But in hectic boss fights and room full of enemies, the dash has saved me so many times that I feel a parry would have been hard to time right and execute. So my advice to you, leave the parrying and enjoy learning the rest of the game, and then if you want the Dark Soul feel, try it out slowly later in the game. Have you noticed there are no quest markers in this game? Perhaps you don't share my frustration, but when I meet an NPC and they ask for assistance, for example, to bring them an item, it would be splendid if I could actually return to them when I find those. Sure, I can traverse through the world and backtrack and try to find them, but it can also end with a ravenous moon and dying twice and lose around 107k of bone dust. Okay, now I sound a bit bitter, but before you say it, I know there's a gemstone to save all your bone dust, but let's just say I did not run around with it on me. The next one is short and you will love this. You will find a favorite heavy attack and mine is the whirlwind. Love it since the glory days of Parrying on C64. It took a very long time to figure out that you can simply cancel the attack by pressing the dash button. It's also a perfect way to close the distance on those enemies that insist on moving away all the time. So many times I have started a heavy attack to end up in the pile of enemies and dying. And what happens when you die? Besides the obvious loss of spite skills, you will be faced with... The moon is a beautiful thing unless it turns into a ravenous moon. I can guarantee you this will happen to you on your playthrough at least a couple of times unless you are a god at this type of game. If you are unlucky, it will happen after you die in a boss fight, and aside from the frustrating feeling of having to kill lesser enemies to get your spite bonus back, I feel as if it becomes an extra punishment early into the game. If you like that kind of challenge, good for you. But I have to admit that I paid the price for the mirror restoring the moon many times and could continue to die to the same boss over and over and over again. I'd rather die due to my own poor skills instead of the game being suddenly way harder. The whole thing reminds me of how Demon Souls have world tendency, but what bothers me is that it's just not as clear how it's supposed to be played to your advantage. Early in the game you can easily get stuck with the red moon if you run out of glands, and I think that's something that can detract from the game experience or even make you stop playing the game. I have a build for you that I know you will love when you slowly upgrade your way and allow yourself to make mistakes while perfecting your lethal gameplay. I will also explain all the pros and cons I found during my playthrough, and I promise to even offer some variations to change up your gameplay when you feel more comfortable with your skills. First, you have to buy the statue gemstone. This gemstone makes you receive less damage with the penalty that you move around a bit slower. A great way to let you adjust to the brutal gameplay, and it will have a huge impact on your survivability. A very important thing to mention, you need to unequip the gemstone when you want to super dash, and that is a bit time consuming, or you will have, just like me, time to wonder why you can't dash to new locations. If you're all into parrying, the leech gemstone should be your next item. I went for a more counterbalanced gemstone for when I move about in the world with a lot of enemies and picked the blood rush gemstone. Blood rush temporarily increased your move and attack speed after a successful killing blow. Not always the best pick in a boss fight with just a big boss and no minions, but great in a room filled with a lot of enemies. The last slot is free. You could go for deep wounds for critical damage or retribution gemstone that returns some damage to the foes. I used both in a boss fight with a successful outcome. When it comes to witchery arts, a quick and stable build is chain boulder for the flying enemies. Trust me, they are annoying and need to be killed first, and stone pillar if you need to attack around and up. Both will last you through the game, but I always had doppelganger with me. Being two sometimes helps a lot, especially with those doppelgangers you meet after exiting a mirror. They get harder every time you come across them. Burst is still needed to pass through this kind of locked areas, so here I would love to have a kind of quick slot for witchery skills, since you are forced to switch to progress back and forth. You will need the super dash to progress further into the game, and you will get hints about it by seeing platforms you just can't reach. True Metroidvania elements for sure. So for that you need to face off with an old friend to Grey Irma, the corrupted sweet Wanda. Cute name for a wicked deadly encounter. She is located here in the depths. Closest fast travel point is Lesser Mills, and for this one you have to be the aggressor and attack her first. It is a great two-stage fight, so make sure to enjoy it and dash a lot when things get icky. After you have eliminated her, you will finally get the super dash ability. The super dash is like a power boost to your regular dash and will make you clear chasms. Or will it? I think this one needs a whole section on its own, since it's not clear from the start how it works. If you just use the super dash, you will take off for a bit, but will not clear any chasms or reach new locations. You have to time your super dash by holding down the button and then reaching for the jump button and holding that just before you leave the platform you are starting from. I could not for the life of me on my old Xbox controller make the dash jump with just my thumb, so I had to put the controller down and use my index and middle finger to make the dash jump. Sounds stupid, I know, but hey, it works, and perhaps you play with a better controller to reach them both more easily. So, you started to rack up some body parts and might be wondering what to do with them all. If you have the left and the right arm and the left and the right leg, you can have the joy of putting King Drahan together. The whole encounter will not give you any mighty weapon, instead it will give you insight into the lore of the game and the achievement king's perspective. If you are missing any part, comment below and I will guide you to it. With all 4 parts, head on over to High Castle Waypoint, the Throne Hall, and head left until you find the king. Put all 4 parts together and prepare to pay up some bone dust. He is a greedy king, so every story comes with a price of 5, 10 and 15,000 to be more exact. And when you're done, you will get another extra surprise. If you feel something is missing or you want another video covering another topic about Moonscars, comment below. Until next time, I'm Dan, it's been a pleasure, stay safe and stay awesome.